There's also a chapter many people whisper about, the transmutation of energy. Think of it this way. Human beings generate powerful drives, sexual energy among them, that can either scatter attention or intensify creation. The practice is to redirect that energy into ambition, craftsmanship, and contribution. It's not about denial, it's about channeling. When you learn to transmute excitement into focus, you can work longer with joy, listen more deeply, and bring a magnetic quality to your interactions. People feel the difference when your drive is directed. Now let's talk about the invisible engine, your subconscious mind. It is always learning from the words you repeat, the images you hold, and the emotions you entertain. Feed it worry, and it will search for evidence to confirm danger. Feed it a clear aim, confident self-talk, and daily proof of progress, and it will recruit your attention and memory to help. The practical move is simple. Guard your inputs. Start and end your day by rehearsing what you're building, not what you fear. Keep a short list of wins where you can see them. Each small proof is fuel. The brain behaves like a transmitter and receiver of thought. That might sound mystical, but notice how ideas spread in a team when the mood is hopeful versus cynical. Notice how you think differently around people who expect excellence. This is why the mastermind matters so much. Choose the climate in which your mind will grow. Hill ends with something we all recognize: fear. He names the common ones: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, death. Fear shrinks desire. Fear invites indecision. Fear makes you argue for your limitations. The counter is not bravado. It is clarity, action, and companionship. Name the fear, put the worst case on paper, choose a small step that would still make sense even if the worst happened, and share your plan with someone who won't let you drift. Fear dissolves when you give your attention a job to do. If we pull these threads together, a pattern emerges. Decide on a definite purpose. Build faith deliberately through the words and pictures you allow to live in your mind. Acquire specialized knowledge and turn it into action with organized planning. Make decisions promptly. Persist longer than is comfortable. Stand inside a mastermind that multiplies your courage and intelligence. Guard your imagination and your inputs. Channel your energies. Confront fear with movement. This is not about luck. It's about building an inner architecture that keeps pulling you toward what matters. What does this look like in your life? Today, not someday. It looks like choosing one outcome and writing it in a sentence that starts with, "I will." It looks like reading that sentence morning and night with feeling. It looks like learning the next necessary skill: sales, coding, design, negotiation, whatever the goal demands, and scheduling the practice rather than hoping it happens. It looks like asking for help and offering help. It looks like tracking progress by behaviors you control: calls made, pages written, reps completed, so you don't abandon the path when results lag. It looks like changing tactics without changing goals when the data tells you to adjust. It looks like celebrating small wins because momentum loves recognition. Let's revisit Barnes for a moment, because his story contains a secret many people miss. He didn't demand a title first. He created value until the title made sense. He looked for a neglected problem and married his ambition to solving it. That's a mindset you can borrow this week. Where in your world is there a product, a process, or a person that needs a champion? Where can you volunteer to carry the ball farther than anyone expects? often the door to your desire is opened by a task most people avoid. You might be thinking, fine, but what if I've tried before and failed? Then you're exactly where this philosophy becomes precious. Failure is information. If you can stand inside the discomfort long enough to ask, what did this teach me about the skill I still need, about the ally I still need, about the plan I should revise, you'll find that failure is a map. The only permanent failure is the decision to detach from your desire because you wanted relief more than results. Be kind to yourself and brave with yourself at the same time. That balance is rare, and it's trainable. And what about money itself? Hill doesn't worship it. He treats it like concentrated possibility. Money expands your options, amplifies your values, and funds your promises. But here's the twist. The habits that create wealth, clarity, contribution, discipline, collaboration, are worth more than the money. They travel with you across projects, industries, and seasons of life. When you build those habits, you become the kind of person opportunities look for. So here are the takeaways I hope stay with you. 1. Pick one desire and make it definite. 2. Rehearse it daily until belief and behavior match. 3. Learn something useful enough that people depend on you for it. 4. Make decisions, then persist longer than your moods. 5. Build or join a mastermind whose standards pull you forward. 6. Befriend failure as feedback. 7. Protect your imagination because it is the workshop where the rest of your life is being built. If you practice these, results may arrive later than you want and earlier than you deserve. That paradox is the quiet gift of persistence. Now, about that freight train. Imagine you stepping down. Maybe you don't have a ticket home from where you are either, but you do have a sentence you can carry, a plan you can update, and a circle you can gather. You are not at the mercy of your past. You are at the beginning of a decision. If this spoke to you, I have one request. In one clear sentence, what definite desire will you commit to for the next 30 days? Write it in the comments so that your future self can find it, and so that the rest of us can stand with you. Then, when you're ready for your next step, tap the video on the right about building unshakable mindset from the classics. Watch it tonight, save it for the days you need it, and share it with one person who's on the platform with you. We're building the community of people who make decisions, keep promises, and grow rich in every sense that matters. Join us. A freight train rattles to a stop, and a young man steps down with empty pockets and one thought he refuses to let go. I will become a partner to the greatest inventor of my time. No backup plan, no ticket home. Just a single decision held so tightly it feels like breath. Before this moment, he was ordinary. After this moment, he begins to bend his life around that decision. Here's the knife-edge question this book asks you and me. What happens when you choose one desire so clearly that everything else rearranges around it? If the world is loud and scattered, can a single decision cut through the noise? Stay with me, because by the end, I want you to know exactly what to hold in your hands when you step off your own freight train. Think and Grow Rich was written by Napoleon Hill after years of studying high achievers and distilling what they had in common. First published in the 1930s and updated for modern readers, it isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a guide to how your thoughts, beliefs, and organized effort converge to produce results. Money, yes, but also mastery, contribution, and the life you actually want to live. Its message still matters because the world changes fast, but the way people decide, persist, and organize their minds hasn't changed much at all. At its core, the book says this: Everything begins as an idea, and the ideas you hold with emotion and persistence pull your actions, your allies, and your opportunities into alignment. Desire, when made definite and backed by a plan and a supportive circle, becomes power. Let's make that real. The young man stepping off the freight train was Edwin C. Barnes. He didn't want a job with Thomas Edison, he wanted a partnership. That difference, soft hope versus definite purpose, is the first principle. Desire is not a wish, it is a decision with a name, a timeline, a cost you accept in advance. Barnes took humble work at first. He showed up with excellence. He looked for a way to make himself necessary. When an opportunity arrived to sell one of Edison's devices, he seized it, outworked the room, and made himself indispensable. The insight you can carry into your life. Define one aim so clearly that your daily choices either serve it or you modify them. Write it, speak it, measure it. Desire becomes a compass, not a mood. But desire without belief collapses. Hill calls the second principle faith, not blind optimism, but self-generated conviction. Faith grows through autosuggestion, which simply means you feed your mind the picture of what you intend to create until that picture feels normal. The mind moves toward what it rehearses. Imagine a runner who repeats, "I finished strong," and pictures the final 100 meters every morning. When fatigue hits, their body finds the groove it has already practiced. You can do this with money goals, creative goals, relationship goals. The key is repetition with emotion. Put your goal into words you can feel. Speak it morning and night. See the scene of success as if it's happening now. This isn't magic, it's mental conditioning. When your internal language changes, your choices get braver. Your attention gets sharper, and you notice options you used to miss. Next comes specialized knowledge and organized planning. General knowledge makes you broadly interesting. Specialized knowledge makes you useful. The world pays for precise solutions. So ask, what specific problem will I become excellent at solving? Then turn desire and faith into a plan. Imperfect, flexible, and active. Move, test, adjust. Hill tells the story of a prospector who quit digging a few feet from a gold vein. He sold the equipment for scrap. The buyer consulted an expert, recalculated, and struck gold right where the first man had stopped. The lesson isn't just persistence, it's intelligent persistence. Consult people who know what you don't. Update the plan when facts change. And remember, a plan that fails isn't you failing, it's data arriving. Decision and persistence are the spine of the book. Indecision leaks energy. When you delay choices, you pay a tax in stress and scattered effort. People who achieve a lot tend to make decisions promptly and change them slowly when evidence requires. Persistence is simply decisions spread across time. Think of a door that opens only after 1,000 knocks. You can't predict which knock does it. Your job is to keep a steady rhythm. Hill points to leaders who were told impossible, who met obstacles and returned the next day. That stubbornness isn't about arrogance. It's about aligning your daily effort with the identity you've chosen. If your decision is firm, obstacles are not verdicts, they're events. Another crucial force is the mastermind. What happens when you surround yourself with a small circle whose energy, knowledge, and belief interlock with yours? Your mind strengthens inside that field. Andrew Carnegie, whose example runs through Hill's work, attributed much of his success to the coordinated effort of trusted allies. This is not networking in the shallow sense. It's a mutual pact. We help one another keep promises to our future selves. In practical terms, that might mean a weekly meeting where you state your commitments out loud, shared progress, borrow expertise, and stay honest. The math of it is almost unfair. 2 or 3 aligned minds can create momentum that one person rarely sustains alone. Hill goes further into imagination, the workshop of the mind where plans are built. There are 2 kinds: synthetic imagination, which rearranges what already exists into new combinations, and creative imagination, which seems to deliver fresh ideas when you've done the work and made space for them. You don't have to wait for lightning. Schedule it. Block quiet time where you set aside screens and ask bold questions. How else could this be solved? What would delight the person I serve? Which assumption can I invert? Creative answers show up most for those who are prepared to receive them. Capture them quickly. Idea debt is real. Write the spark and assign it a next step.